All right, we're gonna talk about succession planning and what it is and why we should do it. I am Kelly Munez, Cub Master of Pack 138 in Spencer. I'm pretty sure you all know that already, but we'll say it again for anybody who's joining us later. All right. So why should I have a succession plan? So I'm actually going to backtrack just a little bit before we touch on this slide. A succession plan. What is a succession plan? Succession plan is who is going to take over for you if you're the Cub Master, the committee chair, those kind of positions. Obviously, if you're den leader, whoever is the den leader for the year before is going to take over your den, as in that rank that you're working on that year. So if you're a lion leader, there's going to be a new lion leader for the lions the next year. At least that's how most units go. I don't know of any that have a specific person who does the lions every single year. You usually move with your scout for that rank, but Cub Master, Assistant Cub Master, committee chair, those kind of positions, when somebody is in them, typically they're going to stay for the length that their scout is in the unit. There are some of us, like myself, which will end up being in that position for longer than that. But that is not as common as you fulfilling the tenure that your child is in Cub Scouts and then moving on. So for peace of mind, for those positions, you would want a succession plan. Who's going to follow after you and take over as committee chair, Cub Master, Assistant Cub Master, that for clarity, so that everybody knows who eventually is going to take over. Ease of transition, so that there's not a lot of confusion as to, hey, who's in charge now? Who do I talk to about money for the blue and gold? Like, who do I contact for that? In case of emergency, so a succession plan, the way I have my succession plan set is a little bit different, but I do like the idea of it, and we'll go into a little bit more exactly how I did that in a minute. But in case of emergency, what happens if, heaven forbid, something happens to me and I'm no longer able to be Cub Master? I actually was speaking to a scouter relatively early in my career as Cub Master. I've been Cub Master for 3 years now. So, but when I was talking to this person, they said, our unit is in this crazy upheaval right now because our Cub Master had a heart attack and he's no longer able to, I can't remember whether he passed away or not, but it was like one of those things where all of the sudden there was no Cub Master for this unit. And they were kind of scrambling as to, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? So my succession plan includes, if something were ever to happen within the unit, and I'm not saying necessarily to me, something could happen to me, but like, we hope not. But in the future, even after I decide that I don't want to lead anymore, I'm not able to lead anymore, 15 years down the road, this can still be utilized to help whoever is in charge should something like that happen. So what does the succession plan look like? It can even be an idea of who could take over for you. So I know we were talking earlier about succession plans and what they were. It's even an idea of, okay, I know that my scout is a bear. So I know I'm only going to be leader for a couple more years. But Sally has this new lion, and she just started this year, and she's a fantastic den leader. She would make a great Cub Master. Right now is the time to have that in the back of your head that maybe Sally could take over for me, because in 2 years, she's going to be a wolf leader. She'll still have plenty of time to lead the pack for a couple of years before her scout leaves Cub Scouts to go on to Scouts BSA. She might be a perfect person to start kind of, you don't necessarily have to say, hey, when I'm done, can you take over? But you could say, hey, like, could you help me out with this? Or would you be interested in an assistant Cub Master for a little while? And just kind of get an idea of whether that amount of responsibility would be something that she would like to do. The Cub Master binder is actually what I have for my succession plan. And that's basically a binder that is how to run Pack 138. From A to Z, 1 to 10, everything. And it's all in there. And any time that we change something or we improve on something, I try to add to that binder or adjust things so that it stays current. Assistant Cub Masters are excellent resources. Like I said, if you ask a den leader who is at the beginning of their scouts journey, they might be a good resource to pull from. Any parent who has a young scout who might be has that personality and that and the want. When should I be thinking about this? I was gonna put yesterday, but I put now. But really, you want to at least have an idea at least a year before your scout is going to be leaving the program, or you are going to step down, so that you can get that information, pick that person, find a person who's willing, because you might ask that person, they might be like, I have too many commitments, I can't do that right now, maybe in the future. So you're gonna have to find somebody. So the reason that I became Cub Master, when I started, my son was a tiger. The existing Cub Master at the time needed a tiger leader. So she was like, hey, would you mind being the tiger leader? And I said, okay. And she said, well, I'll meet with you a couple of times so that you can see how a meeting runs and everything. And then you can take over from there. I'll give you all the information, the den leader guide, everything you need. And I was like, okay, no problem. Sounds good. I can handle, I think I had 4 kids at the time. I can handle 4 kids for activities once a week. No problem. So I did that. A year and a half later, the unit went through a transition. The previous Cub Master stepped down. It seemed, I'm not sure where I was at the time. I think as Tigers, we were meeting off-site, but the rest of the pack was meeting in the same location. So they all knew that she was stepping down, and nobody had stepped up to take the position. So another wonderful woman picked up the position, but she had too many things on her plate. So she was not able to really fill the role in the way that the unit really needed her to fill it. So the previous Cub Master came up to me and said, hey, I think you would make a wonderful Cub Master. And I went, I'm not doing that. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I have no idea. I barely can run my meetings in the way that Scouts wants me to do it, because at the time I wasn't really a trained leader either. I kind of was learning all the ropes. So then I learned how to do it by doing it. So now I decided that this Cub Master binder and having a succession plan really is the best way to go, because having kind of jumped into that and not knowing what I was doing, I mean, I didn't even know how to add a scout. Like, I didn't know how to recharter. I didn't know who my unit commissioner was. I had no idea who to contact at the council level. I really had no clue. And I mean, she helped me, but she was also trying to phase out of scouting. Mind you, she's still my tiger leader. So she hasn't ended completely. But I didn't know what I was doing. So I went and got myself trained, because every scout deserves a trained leader. So I took blue, I took all that, I took a wood badge, and one of my ticket items was my Cub Master binder. So what should this include? Important dates for the pack events. So we talked this morning about annual planning. All of my annual planning dates that I took from the previous year and I'm taking into this year, all of those dates for those pack events, because like I said, we set them for a certain, my unit does, for a certain time during the year. So I know October is always an October camp out. Thanksgiving is always in November. Like our Thanksgiving event is always in November, and so on and so forth. Any contacts for events? So popcorn sales. All of the stores that we do our show and sells, all of those phone numbers and contact names. So store managers, anybody that I need to contact for booking that show and sell, that is on there, so that it's in one place and I'm not rushing around. I'm not Googling Stop and Shop store in Sturbridge, phone number. It's all right there to find it. Important pack information, council contacts, so that you know who to contact or somebody else knows who to contact. Chartered or org contact information, any for our fundraisers. We do a fundraiser at the fair, the Spencer Fair every year. The fair contact person, so that we can start setting up our event there, is a good thing to have. Tips and tricks. So there are, every time you do something, an event, you should be doing your start, stop, continues. Does everyone know what a start, stop, continue is?
What is it?
Start, stop, continue.
Start, stop, continue.
Yep. So you go back and you look at the event, and what should you start doing for that event? Like what should you have done in that event that you didn't do? So camp out. I should really start packing a roll or two of toilet paper, because there's never toilet paper in the bathroom in October. Things like that. Stops are what didn't work. I need to stop making, one of my big stops for campouts was stop allowing the scouts so much free time. Because you know what free time does? Free time gets the scouts running around like crazy and climbing trees and hitting each other with sticks and, all those things that you don't want them doing. Structured time is better. So one of my big stops was stop giving them so much free time. A little bit of free time is fine. Too much free time causes chaos. And then continues are what went right in this event. Continue to do Gaga Ball, for example, on campouts. Gaga Ball is like amazing. Kids love it. They beg for it every year. And the kids who don't know what Gaga Ball is, the next year they're begging for it. So make sure that you add those things to your binder, because that binder, so the way I saw the binder when I was thinking about this and deciding how to best help my pack, was that binder, I could hand that binder to any one of you, and you could run my pack. And go, I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. Jennifer, here you go. I'm done. I'm out. That would never happen, but it was that emergency. Like, I thought about it and I was like, that emergency situation that pack was in, it would be a lot less of an emergency situation if they had a binder, like literally a binder that says, this is exactly how I run everything. This is who to contact for, blue and gold for a cake. This is who we've used in the past for this. It allows me to hand it to any, and I mean, I could literally probably hand this binder to a brand new Lion parent who's never done scouting before, and they could still run this, because it gives them all of the information they need, and it at least gives them enough information that if the information isn't in this binder, they knew who to contact to get that information. Whoop, I skipped one. So what my binder looks like, all our yearly events, when, where, how. So when October campout is generally the second, I meant to have the binder on me and I don't have it on me, second weekend in October. Where is Treasure Valley? How is it's kind of a when, like how we get things there, how long is it going to be, that kind of stuff. The start stop continues. So the good ideas, the bad ideas. There is a sample program along the right behind my information for October campout, because that was one of my stops, was stop giving the scouts so much free time. So I have an example program of, arriving at 6 o'clock at night on Friday night. No dinner is included. You eat before you come. We set up at 7 o'clock. Say we do a STEM hike because it's starting to get it's either dark or starting to get dark. So we might do a dark hike, and then we come back. We might have a little bit of time next to the campfire to tell some stories. And then I also, one of my stops was stop letting the scouts stay up until they want to go to bed. Give them a bedtime. So 9 o'clock, all scouts need to be in their tents doing whatever their wind down is or going to sleep. If their bedtime is before that, they are more than welcome to go to their tent and go to sleep before that. That way, because otherwise you have those couple of scouts who will stay up until like midnight at the fire with the adults, and the adults need a little bit of time to compress and chill out. So that's what we do. I've separated in my binder, I've separated by event and by month. So if I need to go into that binder and I need to find a specific event, I can flip to that tab for, say, sign up nights. That's actually my first tab, so it's the very first thing in the front of the book. But I can go in there and I can see my when, my where, my how, all of that for my sign up nights. So when I do them, generally the first week or two of September, I might have a sign up night the end of August before the fair. But the fair is also a really big event for us for signups. And then it's separated by month. So I can flip to January and see what event I'm supposed to be working on and planning, what I'm supposed to be doing for that plan, and when it should be done by. When to start planning for each event. So blue and gold. I start planning for blue and gold, like it's generally in March for us, not this year, but in the past. We're planning for that starting, I might be starting in December, but I'm hard come January. I am like, that is every committee meeting. If not, there's conversations and stuff happening every week about the blue and gold. So that I'm not starting in February going, our blue and gold is next month on the 14th. What are we doing for it? That keeps you planned. Annual planning, succession plan, like this binder keeps you on track for all of those things. I added how to recharter because that was my big thing. Rechartering, I had no clue. Not a clue what I was supposed to be doing and how to do it. So making that binder, I made sure to add a section on how to recharter, when recharter generally is, what information I need for each of the scouts returning and new, who to get help from the council if I'm having issues with recharter, that kind of stuff. So this is a picture. It's blurry. I apologize. The sheet on the front made the actual words blurry, but so this is that front of my binder. So the first thing that's in there is sign up nights. I kind of did it in order of the year. So all of my events are in order starting from September. So September, the first thing we do is sign up nights. Then it's the popcorn sale. Then it's the October camp out. Then it's Thanksgiving. Then it's holiday, etc. And as you probably can't see it very well, but it says at the top when it is. So September 1st, second week of school, and what in July and August I should be making my sign up packets. So I am putting in my my talent survey. I'm putting in the PAC's conduct, good conduct paperwork. I'm putting in a scout application for the new scouts. I'm putting in for the returning scouts. I'm putting in a contact sheet, name, address, phone number, emergency contacts, that kind of stuff to confirm that. Because once you have them sign up, I know a lot of units don't have them fill out paperwork again, because obviously they're a returning scout, so they're already in the computer and everything. That's great. What if Sally moved? What if her phone number changed and she didn't come to any of our summer events? So we don't now have an emergency contact, or something changed and her emergency contact had to change because there was a family fallout and they're no longer talking to Aunt Paige, and now they don't want Aunt Paige being contacted because of an emergency, that kind of stuff. So I do try to make sure that I update that. And then in mid-August, it's getting flyers printed by the council to go to schools, going to the kindergarten open houses, that kind of stuff. So that's all of the information that I need to have if I didn't know how to run the signups. And I used October. I like campouts apparently for examples. So this is the October campout. Third weekend in October, and then a budget. That's the other thing I did not add when we were talking about what should be in the information. If it's an event that costs money, I have a budget. So the site at Treasure Valley is $50 for the weekend. Food is generally, for our unit, generally about $200. We have anywhere from 10 to 20 scouts. And then family members. Not everybody shows up for an event, and we do ask them to RSVP so that we know how many people are showing up. Early September, book the site. I put what site we like and why. So Medora is an excellent site. We love it. It's good for October because it has pit toilets. In October, in Treasure Valley, all of the plumbing is off. So if you don't have a pit toilet, your bathrooms are closed. So you have to walk to the main bathroom. So if you're all the way down in T-Bird, you have to walk a long way, and you know how often scouts have to go to the bathroom. So that's why we like Medora, and because it has 16 platforms on that site, and they're kind of spread out. So because it's family camping, we like to give the families as much opportunity to be away from everybody else for their sleeping as they want to. And then it goes into mid to end of September. I'm gonna talk to the den leaders about skits or songs or anything, because there are a lot of belt loops that you can finish at a campout. Like, you can finish quite a few of the required things for a lot of the belt loops for each rank at a campout if you just add it into your program. Very little free time is better. Email the parents whatever you're using for your signups. Email them the dates for the campout. Email them packing lists. That's an excellent thing, especially if you have new scouts. They may never have camped before, and they have no idea. I had a single mother with 2 scouts, new to the program, had no equipment, no idea what to pack for a campout. I was able to give her our packing list. We have a packing list of things that the pack needs to bring, but also a individual family / person's packing list. So tent, sleeping bags, that kind of stuff. I'm in that example, I'm not really sure what what she read, because she didn't bring any of that. Sorry about that. And then early October at our committee meeting at the beginning of the month, we talk about meals. If we're having a light meal on Friday, generally we have the people who are showing up early, the leaders who are showing up early will make something simple like hot dogs or something for us because we're showing up so early. But everybody else, it's either they bring their own food or they eat before they come. Generally Dutch oven meal for Saturday for dinner, and a cold breakfast on Sunday morning. We found that if you are cooking Sunday morning, a lot of people want to leave early. They have church, they have other obligations on Sundays, so they don't stay. So we have a nice, quick, easy, grab it and go. If you don't want to stay for the couple of things we do in the morning on Sunday, you can still be able to eat. Finalize what activities we're going to do. A week out, we pack for the pack. We make sure that we have all of the gear that we need for the pack. Double check if any families need gear. We do have, the pack does have gear that we lend out for families if they don't have tents or sleeping bags, that kind of stuff. And then the Thursday or Friday before is food shopping, last minute packing, and double check what was packed to make sure you're not forgetting anything. Make sure to pack in big bold letters your first aid kit. Make sure you have that. We've in the past not had a first aid kit and had injuries, and that's no fun. Med forms. I hope that everybody knows that when you are not at your chartered org, you are supposed to have those med forms with you for every scout that is with you. And that's a big one, especially for a camp out. And there's my sample program. I do have all of this. So if you guys at the end of this session are interested in this binder, I do have digital copies of this binder. They're set for obviously for my pack, but they could be changed and adapted to anybody's unit. So if you want that copy, I am more than happy to do that for you guys. All right, so let's see. And here is by month. So in January, I am working on the things, and some of this is stuff that I would have been working on the previous year already. But winter camp out, our winter camp out is generally second weekend in January, and we're camping in the cabins at Treasure Valley. So a week out, again, it's the same thing as the October one, packing for gear. Thursday or Friday before, and food shopping. That's exactly the same as the October camp out. Like word for word, I copied and pasted it from the other one because there's no need to rewrite it, or you're not adding things. You're just taking them from the event during that time period and you're putting it under the month for that time period. So Pinewood Derby, beginning of January, we're booking a location. We're contacting Pack 106 for the track because we run our track from them. We're reaching out to donors for food for the day, trophies. We've been lucky enough to have local businesses. They sponsor our trophies. And then email out the Derby rules because every family really needs to have, like, I do that more than once because otherwise sometimes you have kits and stuff like that and then you have to tell them day of that I'm sorry but you don't qualify, and that's no fun. We do let our scouts, disclaimer, we do let our scouts run kits. If they end up with a kit car, they can run it in our pack race. They cannot go to districts with it. So because in districts the rules are that you can't have kits. So end of January we order trophies. We order from Crown and they're amazing and they come really quick. And we're working on blue and gold. We're planning the theme, food. We're reaching out to local businesses. We've been lucky enough to have business donations for Blue and Gold. We had Blue and Gold catered one year by Olive Garden. They donated salad, pasta, all that for us for about 100 people. So they're very, very friendly to Scouts. So that's kind of what my binder, I mean, I could have put like 24 pictures in here with my whole binder. But like I said, if you're interested in the binder, I'm more than happy to share the digital copy of it. I just wanted some actual pictures of the binder for you guys to see what it looks like in binder form, because I could take this text and put it up here, but that doesn't really show you kind of what the binder looks like. I have supplemental things in the back. They're actually in a separate binder right now, but they're recipes for food. My husband took Wood Badge with me. And so one of his ticket items was a Grubmaster binder, and that has literally how to do food for a camp out. And it's got recipes and it's got ideas and so I have some recipes in it's like my activities / everything binder. It's got sample jokes, skits, that kind of stuff, because inevitably the kids want to do skits. So they might have worked on one with their den, but then they want to do one themselves, and they'll come up with crazy things. They'll come up with their own skits. I mean, we had a camp out where literally it was 3 hours of them just making up skits like for 2 seconds and then going, I got one. But so I have sample skits, I have sample jokes, I have let's see what else is in there. For winter camp out, and for like if it's raining during the fall or the summer camp out, I have a bunch of coloring pages. So I took old coloring books. Somebody had either printed out a bunch of them or donated a bunch of like coloring books that their kids never used, and they pulled out all the sheets that their kid hadn't colored. Because I've got like Trolls ones, I've got SpongeBob, I've got, superheroes, all that kind of stuff. And I've got all of them 3-ring binder hole punched and stuck in a binder so that I can print off, copy off of, I don't know, 24 of them, so that I have them with me with some crayons, just in case they're looking for something to do. Let's see what else is in my binder. I can't remember what else is in there, but literally anything that you can think of that you might need for ideas or a camp out. Oh, stories. I like to do stories. So the kids like to do skits and stuff, and I like to do stories. So I'll do like how the chipmunk got his stripes, how the bear lost his tail, those kind of stories. And the kids really seem to like those stories. So I keep them kind of Native American Aesop's fables kind of themed, but with like a story behind it and a moral behind the story. And so they think this story is really cool because they're like, ha ha ha, fox tricked bear, and now bear doesn't have a tail. But there's really a meaning behind it, and a reason why I'm sharing it. And they don't always pick up on it, but I see them behaving in a way where they really kind of, it's in the back of their head. They kind of absorb it, which is nice. Let's check time. Does anybody have any questions?
So Kelly, yeah, if I would love a copy of this. This is just amazing. This is a really good, this is a lot of work.
It was a lot of work, but it was meant to be a lot of work. I had 18 months to finish my 5 tickets for Wood Badge. So it did take me a while. I had the idea before I took Wood Badge. But it was a long process of, I spent that whole 18 months. Every time we had an event, I was frantically writing stuff down after the event to make sure that it got added into the binder. And me, wonderful me, managed to forget.
When did you do this?
One of the biggest things, I took Wood Badge in 2019, spring of 2019. Okay. So just finished my Wood Badge ticket November of last year. So of course, because I was going through for that whole year, and each event I was writing things down. Well, we didn't have our fundraiser in September because of COVID. So there's no Cowchip bingo tab on here. So now I have to go back and add it and fix it. But that will get done. But yeah, that was that start, stop, continue. Start making sure you have all of your events.
Yeah. Now, do you have everybody's, like, say if you're going to email it, are you going to email it like to myself or a group, us in the group, or?
Yeah, I can email it. So I have all of the participants' emails, obviously, because you guys signed up with your emails. But yes, I can make sure that I'll probably just, if everybody's okay with it, I will group email it to everybody who's in the group right now. And then anybody who's watching this after the fact, you can email me with my contact information, and I will send it out to you guys. So
You have this copyrighted, right? So you get.
No, actually I don't. Maybe I should do that before I send it to
You should, yeah, you should, Kelly, because yeah,
you.
to give you credit, because this is just, it's really good.
Thank you. I'm
Thank
more
you.
than happy to share though, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So if there's something that you want to do, it's out there. Annual planning. I got a lot of that from somebody else who had written out how they do their annual planning. I changed a bunch of it, but there's stuff out there. The Grubmaster binder that my husband worked on. Somebody else did a Grubmaster binder for their wood badge. By all means, don't reinvent the wheel. Add it and make it yours and make it work for your unit. But there is something out there. I didn't bother checking to see if somebody else had already done this. I kind of did this on my own, mainly because I had an idea of how I wanted it to be. And I decided that was how I was going to do it. But really, if you're looking for something, it's somebody has probably done it before. And then just take it and make it your own and use it. I would rather people have the information than not. So I'm more than happy to share. And like I said, timing wise on all of these, they're pretty good as far as timing. But obviously, if your Pinewood Derby isn't in February, your timing's going to have to be adjusted a little bit, because you're not necessarily going to be finishing up your Pinewood Derby planning the beginning of February. If it's the end of March or beginning of April is your Pinewood Derby, you're going to be doing that at that later date. So
Can we also get a copy of the your husband's book as well?
I don't see why not. He'd be more than happy to share that as well. That's actually supposed to be.
Master, that's cool.
I want to say that that's actually supposed to be shared. That's part of his ticket, is to share that.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think that'll be a problem. I will talk to him. Actually, let me write that down.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Does anybody have any other questions?
Kelly, do you have my email as well?
Who was that? Was it Rebecca?
Rebecca, yeah.
You signed up though, right? Like you did a donation, right?
I did, right.
Yeah. I should have your email on that
Okay.
on the roster. So let me, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna
A lot of, like, in our pack, we have a Google Drive that might have a lot of this stuff, but it's so nice to have it like in one place.
Yes. Yeah.
It's printed out.
Yeah, that's why I wanted a physical copy. Like I have the digital copy too, but I have a physical copy as well. So I have, we don't have a Google Drive account for the pack, but I have a personal one, but I have a folder that is literally pack 138 that has everything. It has from pictures of all of our events. Like I dump any pictures that I take of the scouts right onto that folder, so that when it comes time for our blue and gold and our crossover for Arrow of Light, I go in there and I pull all of the pictures I have for whatever den is crossing over that year. I'll pull any pictures I have of them into that. So all of that pack information will be on there, as well as in physical copy form. so that it can be reached, because it's nice to have both of those forms. Did you guys have any other questions? Because we are just about we're a couple minutes actually over. And I want to make sure that you guys, if you want a break, we can give you guys a break before the next one. So
I guess my only question would be like choosing that person or asking that person, because we had in COVID times, we had that problem this year. We're like, oh no, they left. What are we gonna do? And any advice? I don't know. You clearly are still in the job, so you don't have.
Yeah. So the biggest thing with asking, like I said, you're thinking about that. You have it in your head who you want to ask. My biggest thing about asking is you can stand up in front of the whole pack at a pack meeting and do your announcements and everything and go, hey, by the way, we need XYZ help with this or that or the other thing, until you're blue in the face. I have never had anybody go, I'll do it. You know, they don't even go, I could do it. They just stand there like deer in the headlights going, okay, like, and then in their head, they're going, I don't want to do that. Or, well, I guess I could do that, but I don't really want to say anything. So I don't know. I'm just going to stand here. The personal ask is a big thing. So if you've got somebody that you've been thinking, you've been watching them, they're great with the Cubs. They're attentive. They have attention to detail. They're friendly. They're outgoing. They have that personality that you think would fit that spot. Ask them if you can chat with them. Tell them, hey, listen, like I've got an idea I want to run by you. And see what they think about it, and say, like, no pressure. It's something, like, think about it. And these are the benefits, and this is how, like, because I'll tell you all day long, like, I never thought I was going to like this position. I did it because I was like, okay, I guess I probably could do it. There's no reason why I can't. I mean, I'm not a public speaker. So I don't know if I want to stand up in front of the whole, and my first couple of meetings, they were a little rough. I didn't know what to say. I stumbled over what I was saying. I stutter when I'm nervous. It was not pretty. Now I'm much better. But I've also realized that the Scouts don't care. And chances are the parents aren't going to say anything to you and go, man, you really can't talk. And you have to be willing to have fun with it. So I'll be silly with the Scouts. And I'll say silly things, and I'll make mistakes on purpose sometimes, just to make them laugh. But I really do love it. And there is, I mean, I'm pretty sure we were saying that in the other session, that there's so much benefit, and I can't even explain how amazing it is to go from, I mean, I'm only ever going to have 2 boys that are biologically mine, but you know what? By the time I'm done with this, I don't even know how many Scouts I'm going to have, boys and girls, like, and they're all their successes. And very rarely are there ever like failures, but those successes are big, and you can grow with them. And just explaining that, a lot of people, if they have the time and stuff, and inclined, and if they're already a leader, it's a lot easier to ask them to take over. But the biggest thing I would say is that personal ask. Don't just throw it out there. Just sit down and ask them if they'd be willing, and even ask them if they'd be willing to almost shadow you or co-lead with you for a little while to see how it is. I'm trying to find a leader for my wolves. I've got 4 new Scouts. None of the parents are able to lead. But I had one, and I did the personal ask, and she said, yeah, sure, I think I could do that. And I said, this is my start, stop, continue right here. I said, here's the leader book. Take it home, look at it. I'll help you with the next meeting or 2. We're going to do this, this, and this. But here's what you need to know for the whole thing. She took it home. she looked at it and she went, oh no, I can't do this. I'm not crafty at all. I don't know. Like, and she gave it back to me 2 weeks later and was like, I don't think I can do this. And so I still don't have a leader. She didn't think she was crafty. 2 weeks ago, we were fishing and she saw all these pine cones on the ground and she was like, we should make bird feeders out of the pine cones. You just put peanut butter on it and bird seed and you hang it. I'm like, that's such a good idea. So you know what we did? We made bird feeders the next week because it was raining, and I was like, oh, that's an excellent thing to do. So she just didn't, I think I overwhelmed her. So instead of telling her what we were going to do for that and say, hey, can you lead these kids doing this? I gave her the whole thing and overwhelmed her with information instead of using the EDGE method to teach her how to lead. I think if I had done that, she would still be my wolf leader instead of panicking and going, I can't do this. So that's a big one too. You want to that EDGE method, and if you don't know what the EDGE method is, look it up because it's fantastic. Or you should just take Wood Badge because Wood Badge is fantastic as well. And you'll learn all about that. But yeah, I would definitely personal ask. If you have somebody, do you have somebody in mind, Jennifer? Or
Just me?
yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. I keep forgetting there's two of you.
I actually just chair, although I've been on the committee for a while. So I've been committee chair since what, December?
Okay.
So who's in mind yet? Because I was the substitute because our chair left in November, December. After getting us the recharter, she dropped out. So, but at the beginning of this year, we had, due to COVID, we had our Cub Master leave too. So like, it seems like you're actually doing both jobs, to be fair.
I am technically, I'm not committee chair. Technically I have like hat after hat after hat after hat. I don't have recruitment. I don't have new member coordinator. I don't have advancement chair. I have the committee chair does secretary and committee chair. I have a treasurer, and then I have 3 other committee members. Two, actually, they're all den leaders too. But other than that, we're such a small pack that I don't feel overwhelmed doing everything. I will ask for help when I need it. That's a big thing, is that you need to ask for help. That was where the previous Cub Master stumbled, was that she had so much on her plate. And instead of saying, hey, Jennifer, can you chair taking care of Pinewood Derby? Like, can you take Pinewood Derby from me? Or can you take this? Or I need help with this. She didn't do that. So she got really overwhelmed and things fell through the cracks. I don't hesitate. While I do a lot of it, I have the time to do a lot of it. I'm a business owner right now, so I have the flexibility to say, I'm not going to book any dogs on Friday because I need to do scout stuff. And so that's not a problem for me, but I will ask for help when I need it. And we all work very well together. If your unit isn't like that, then that might not work for you, and you might need to ask for more help and just do the follow through and say, hey, Sally, you're supposed to be working on XYZ. How's it going? And make those checks periodically. When you are ready to, when it comes time for that crossover, like the change of leadership, let me know. If you have somebody in mind, I'm more than willing to help you with that coaching of, that conversation, and what to say and how it goes. And then, sometimes the person you think is great might not want to do it, and you might have to come up with a backup plan. So that does happen. I always keep that in mind. Like, I have like people in my head all the time. That person would be great for that. That person would be great for that. And I think about it a lot. I try not to make that the only thing I think about, but I do think about what's going to happen. Like, I'm thinking about what's going to happen next year when I lose all of my committee because they cross over next year. Like committee chair, treasurer, committee member / den leader. Like my husband, luckily, he doesn't get out of it. My oldest crosses over this year, but I still have a tiger, so he's stuck with me. He's taking over tigers after they cross over. So there's going to be a big change. Like I'm going to be looking for people, so I'm kind of keeping that in mind as we, as we're recruiting and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think we are just about at 3, so we're supposed to start another session. So I'm going to stop the recording. If anybody who's watching this after the fact has questions, feel free to contact me.